Fish products are the main source of protein for 3 billion people, and the fishing industry and fishing activities provide income to 800 million people. Fish are a slippery issue. Hidden underwater, our marine resources are not easy to study or understand. But what is the current state of the seas? What fish species are on the verge of extinction? Can we influence the market? Should we stop eating fish? Is there a future for small-scale fishes? The fish we bring to our tables is often seen simply as just food, a source of proteins useful to our diet, when in fact it reflects a system of relationships between chemical elements, human activities, and environmental factors. This system is so complex that most of us don't even understand it. Often, the more you learn about the complex mechanisms of the fishing industry in this globalized economy, and the ecological consequences of our fish consumption habits, the easier it is to feel discouraged. You're caught between the temptation to ignore the information that makes us uncomfortable and confused, and the instinct never to eat fish again. And we wonder, what difference can I make? We should join campaigns that give us the opportunity to become more aware and curious, to discover new culinary adventures, and to actively participate in our own small way in protecting the resources of the sea. Everyone, whether consumer, restaurateur or fishmonger, can make a difference. In general, we should not be eating large predatory fish. Instead, we should prioritize fish that is local, full-grown, seasonal, and that has a short life cycle. It can be tricky, especially for non-local products, but if possible, you should try to find out how your seafood was caught or farmed to ensure that methods used are not destroying ecosystems or depleting fish populations. From this point of view, artisanal techniques offer much more of a guarantee than industrial ones, so we should choose the first ones as much as possible. Try to avoid sophisticated gourmet delicacies that are incompatible with protecting the marine environment. Say no to shark fin soup, whitebait, and bluefin tuna. Let's stop feeding the vicious cycle of global marketing. Yes, and we know fish is delicious and in general it's actually good for you. Even many national public health and diet campaigns, they recommend eating more fish. This way, they are contradicting all the appeals from organizations and institutions concerned about the health of the seas. There are many similarities with the case of meat. There was once a time when diet campaigns recommended eating more meat and milk. Today, the animals that end up on our plates are often raised intensively, pumped full of hormones and antibiotics, and fattened rapidly to increase profits. Anyone who cares about animal welfare and the health of the planet must reduce the meat they eat. The situation with fish is pretty similar. The sea cannot continue being exploited like this. On the other hand, there are very few forms of truly responsible aquaculture. As long as certain trends continue in the market, it is clear that the environment will not miraculously be saved. We simply need to eat less fish, and this means starting by decreasing consumption of the most popular commercial species. Let's not trivialize foods that were once considered luxuries, but learn to appreciate and cook the neglected ones. Now, There's a different topic that has to do with this, but we may not think about it. Who owns the seas and the oceans? Just like the atmosphere, the sea is an open space that, beyond coastal waters, does not belong to any particular political or corporate entity. People have been taking food directly from the seas since the dawn of humanity. The oceans are a common good that belongs to all people and, at the same time, to nobody in particular. They are of vital importance to the whole world. Despite this, today more than ever, entire population of marine wildlife are considered simple commodities, rather than just a shared heritage of natural resources with intrinsic value. In our globalized economy, fish is now one of the most commercialized products in the world. Nowadays, we are witnessing a huge process of unlawful appropriation of world's oceans and fishery resources. This includes marine, coastal and inland fisheries. This phenomenon is called ocean grabbing, and it adversely affects the people and the communities whose way of life, cultural identity, and livelihoods depend on their involvement in small-scale fishing and other closely related activities. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which came into force in 1994, makes the freedom to fish in international waters conditional on countries' willingness to cooperate amongst themselves in order to guarantee the conservation and healthy management of fish stocks. Currently, these stipulations are little more than empty words. To conclude, I'd just like to mention that the consequences on marine biodiversity are already evident, and if fisheries management does not change radically, this biodiversity will be seriously and irreversibly diminished. It will be completely impossible to reverse current trends if the current situation doesn't change and if we don't do anything about it. Thank you.